Mario and Luigi are inseparable. They have similar skill sets and are capable of doing much of the same things. However, when it came to branding, it's Mario who got all the glory and recognition, leaving the uninformed to refer to Luigi simply as Green Mario. Of course, Shigeru Miyamoto made Super Mario Bros. And other greats like Legend of Zelda, but by chance is there someone else that we've overlooked? When comparing the fame of two individuals, Wikipedia is a pretty useful tool. For instance, if I look at a profile like Shigeru Miyamoto's and measure it simply by its length, it becomes very apparent that I'm dealing with someone who's very well known. If I come to another person's profile in the same industry and see that it's maybe 5 or 6 sentences long, my initial assumption would be that this individual hasn't quite done enough work to make a name for themselves yet. Oh, he works for Nintendo? Well, that's a good start. Maybe he just needs to get out there a bit more and work on some bigger... Wait, what? Who is this guy? Mario Bros. I thought Shigeru Miyamoto made Super Mario Bros. Single-handedly in a forest with 2 sticks and some duct tape. There was another person involved? And he was a director? Why have I never heard of him before? The Legend of Zelda and Mario 3? Okay. Clearly there's been some sort of mistake. You see, I know video games, and I know Nintendo, and I know Shigeru Miyamoto, I know Eiji Aonuma, I know Koji Kondo, Masahiro Sakurai, Genyo Takeda. Wait, what? Sakurai? Sakurai? Oh, this is great. Oh, I must be missing some kind of joke or something. Whew. Oh man. Okay, back to Nintendo. Back to the man who flew under the radar, but has worked as one of the most influential and talented people in the entire gaming industry. Back to Takashi Tezuka. Takashi Tezuka was born in 1960 in Osaka, and, well, not much is known about him. He went to Osaka University of Arts and got a degree in design. He got a job with Nintendo after school, and that seems to be the only company he's ever worked for. He doesn't strike me as someone who craves attention. He's always been hard at work in the background, guiding the company and developing the talent at Nintendo. For him, he just seems to really enjoy making games, regardless of how many people know or can even pronounce his name. It's entirely possible that he has avoided the spotlight all of these years intentionally. Now, this is the point in the video where I address those of you who, as many avid followers of Nintendo should, are already aware of who Takashi Tezuka is. My point isn't to unveil someone working in the shadows whose name has never been credited and I only discovered through years of investigation. Obviously, he's been named in the credits of every game he's ever worked on. He's been promoted to an executive position within the company. He's fairly well known and has appeared on several interviews and stage presentations in the past, but he's always been overshadowed. Shigeru Miyamoto stated that if there are 3 ideas presented to both of them, they will end up picking the same one. It's like they're twins, except one of them gets far more attention, press, awards, recognition, adoring fans, invitations to parties. It's like he's just that other guy. Oh, I forgot his name, but you know who I'm talking about, the other one, the green guy. Oh yeah, Green Miyamoto. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember his name either. You see, I'm not saying that nobody knows who he is, just that he's the Green Miyamoto. The one who everyone kind of knows was technically there, but no one seems to really want to get to know or meet him at events or learn more about him. It's like he's little more than Shigeru Miyamoto's trusty sidekick, but I am here to argue that Green Miyamoto deserves way more recognition than he currently gets. Takashi Tezuka has been credited for a few specific things within Nintendo. First, the invention of Yoshi. Miyamoto thought it would be a great idea to have Mario riding a horse. Tezuka intervened and came up with this cute, fun, cuddly little dinosaur that ended up being everyone's favorite character for years to come. On another note, for Mario Bros. 3, he's been quoted as saying, "While I was the director, I also did the visuals." This guy did tons of work on those older games. Tezuka was a big fan of The Lord of the Rings and was instrumental in the first Legend of Zelda games. He wrote the script, designed, and directed the first Legend of Zelda game. He directed A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening as well. After directing Mario World, he directed his final game, Mario World 2: Yoshi's Island. If any of you have seen my review of that game or played it yourself, you'll know how special it is. It's Takashi Tezuka's final hurrah, his magnum opus. He hasn't been that involved in a single game ever since. But wow, what a game to go out on. An incredible work of art. He didn't retire though, oh no. Like Miyamoto, he moved behind the scenes. After assisting Miyamoto, that's what the credits say, but he was a director, come on Mario 64, he's been a producer or supervisor on dozens more games, including every new mainline Mario game, Pikmin game, Animal Crossing game, and Yoshi game to come out since, occasionally being asked to lend a hand on newer entries into The Legend of Zelda as well. What exactly he was doing on all those games is mostly a mystery, and I think Tezuka likes it that way. One thing we do know, however, is that he has been tasked with developing the talent at Nintendo, teaching and mentoring the younger designers and programmers to ensure the new generation of Nintendo developers are as motivated, experienced, and as in love with making games as the previous one. In fact, the single quote that defines him the most, I think, is one he gave Bloomberg News back in 2007. Then he stated, "I have never consciously separated casual users and hardcore gamers when I design a game. For the past 20 years, I've always been trying to make games so that anyone, as many people as possible, can enjoy them. I can't help but say that I love my job of making video games from the bottom of my heart." He truly could not have found a better company to fit in with than Nintendo. In fact, he kind of resembles Nintendo's entire ethic, generally speaking. Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island was fundamental in forming Nintendo's identity. Donkey Kong Country had come out, and the higher-ups were clamoring for Nintendo to follow suit with realistic visual graphics and 3D pre-rendered backgrounds and characters. However, under Tezuka's direction, Nintendo began to prioritize creativity over pure graphical technology. Things like unique art styles and fun character or level designs have taken precedence over at Nintendo even to this day, especially when compared with the high computing power and realism of their competitors. Prioritizing creativity over realistic graphics is something that Nintendo lives by to this day, and that philosophy was so ingrained by, among others, Takashi Tezuka, that it has literally become the culture of Nintendo and likely will be well into the future. He may never be a household name. He likely just prefers to sit in the background, helping the youngsters and doing what he truly loves. But next time you talk with your friends about the great game makers of the world, don't forget that Shigeru Miyamoto didn't do everything alone. Green Miyamoto was right there with him, through the good times and the hard times. A sidekick who, were it not for his protege, could have been known as the greatest game maker himself, but who has the respect and humility within himself to let go of his ego and simply be happy that he can influence the world through doing work that he loves, whether they are aware of who he is or not. If there were more developers like Takashi Tezuka in the world, the state of modern video games would be in a much better place. I'll just end this by once again quoting him, "I love making video games from the bottom of my heart. And the games he has made have influenced my life in an incredibly positive manner. Takashi Tezuka, your work has changed the world. And while most people don't know who you are, on behalf of any of the millions and millions of people who ever enjoyed those games, thank you for your part in making them. You aren't just the Green Miyamoto. You, sir, are a legend."